to this week's Mayhem.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Jay.
And happy Halloween! This is kind of going to be a fun little thing that we're going to do with you guys, and it's going to be a bunch of just nerd nonsense.
Nonsense, mostly.
And I'm Stitch.
And I'm obviously Gengar.
And we figured this is our Halloween costumes. You know, keeping it fun.
This week we're going to start out with kind of introductions, but we're going to do introductions a little bit differently. We're going to go through kind of a series of different categories, mostly pertaining to nerdom, to kind of show you guys who we mostly are and get a feel of what we're going to be dabbling in.
See if you approve of our knowledge. Not experts by any means, just self-taught.
Please be aware.
Self-taught.
Self-taught.
Basically what we'll do is we'll start, our biggest category that we both enjoy is Disney. So we are going to kind of see how we can guess each other's characters.
Yes.
Which best describes us.
Yes. So starting out, we're going to go with Disney.
I think we should do princess, all over Disney, and then maybe throw in like a Pixar category.
Oh, Pixar.
Since
yes.
It's the other studio.
Other studio, come on. Still fantastic.
But although I do feel like if you think about character-wise, you think of like when you grew up as like Disney princesses, you wanted to be like a specific Disney princess. But I feel like since we didn't quite know each other as children, it should be adult-wise. Which I feel like it says more about you though as an adult.
What princess you thought you were going to be as a kid, and then what you actually ended up as.
It's like the comparison of anxiety and Inside Out when your real anxiety is what's his face from like the Muppets.
No.
Little like meep guy. Two different versions, adult and child. Happy Disney version, real life.
Straight anxiety. All right, Courtney, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind. I think about different princesses. When I think about you, I kind of go towards Rapunzel, like from Tangled Rapunzel, not like the old-fashioned Rapunzel where she's just, trapped up in there. No, this girl has a frying pan, and she is madness.
Doesn't actually hit people with frying pans, but will, if needed. No, I fully agree with that. She also has like that, my favorite part of that sequence of that is when she has like the soup, when Flynn Rider is trying to convince her to go back to her tower, and she's like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm sad. I definitely feel like I fluctuate between that as well.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that.
As far as overall princess for you, I would probably say Vanellope Von Sweets. I know she's not labeled as an exact princess, but her whole entire monologue with like in Wreck-It Ralph 2 where she's like, are you guys okay when she's talking to the other princesses? I feel like that's definitely an epitome of you. You still have like princess vibes, but like we'll cut you with a candy cane.
Yeah, the undercover princess, some would kind of say.
Yeah.
I really...
Has a giant monster as her best friend. Giant human.
Makes sense. Yeah, it fits my life. It does. It does.
Yes, for sure. Overall
Disney character? Ooh, okay, so this one's kind of hard. So...
I feel like I follow more in like a sidekick category.
I was gonna say, it's not that you are a sidekick at all. You are definitely main character in all ways. But, Pascal, just, I don't know if I'm on a Tangled kick. I don't know if I was just because I watched it recently and I love it, or if it just truly does fit you. But Pascal from Tangled is...
But he has like the judgy vibes, but also like great best friend vibes. So he has both aspects. Like when he questions Flynn Rider and he's like, are you sure you're going to mess? That definitely seems, but also at the same time, he's like, my princess. Yeah, I definitely have those aspects of myself.
It's the sass. It's the overall sass.
Yeah. Sweet sass. We'll call it sweet and sassy.
Sweet and sassy.
It's like sweet and sour sauce, but chameleon version? We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. All right, who do you think about me when you think about all around?
All around character. See, it's hard because I feel like you follow under a lot of like Pixar characters.
I know, that is hard, huh?
Overall, okay, so it's good. This might be another sidekick like left field. But
oh no.
I think you would follow under Percy, the little pug from Pocahontas.
Because I have so much sass, or the fact that I like to eat in bed.
Yes, but he was also so stubborn to the fact he didn't want to make friends and then ended up like being terrified of losing Nico and Pocahontas and like left the mean Radcliffe guy. Yeah, no, I think you would definitely follow under Percy. If we're going, I feel like sidekicks category should be our overall category.
Yeah,
but
sidekick.
I think you would definitely be Percy. I also can like see you with his like collar.
Oh, because I'm fashionable.
Yes. You are just eccentric enough in your outfits to where I feel
I
like
am.
he is one.
I am eccentric. And don't forget, I like to go, old school with my clothing.
Yeah, that's
so.
true. You do have more of a vintage style. So I feel like Percy is a pretty good accuracy for you.
I thought you were going to say because he has breathing problems. I was like, hey, leave me alone.
Now that you mention it, I mean, that's not completely inaccurate.
Okay.
Pixar.
Oh, we're going to go with Pixar now.
Mm-hmm.
Pixar character. Oh, God, this makes so much sense for you. We know we went and saw it because we do most of our things together.
Mm-hmm.
Inside Out. I feel like you are joy. You run so high on energy. It's just bam, 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 bam. Happy-go-lucky.
I think it also helps with the fact in the second one where she's like, it's like, my name's Unwee, and she goes, I'm gonna call you Wee Wee.
Yes, that is her. That is Courtney in a nutshell.
So
Not the Unwee.
well, if you can't pronounce the name, and be like, you're Bob.
Yes, she does.
Hi, Bob.
You will have a side name.
Or if I can't remember her name, I just assign a name, and it's really bad when it comes to remembering the name again.
Oh, no.
Okay, for you, for Pixar, it's probably a tie. So I say one because of her personality and how sassy she is, but she's technically also a princess, is Merida.
Mm.
Or you could be her little brothers.
Oh,
The little like troublemakers.
the triplets?
Yeah, the triplets. A second one I would probably say with a tie would be Mrs. Incredible from The Incredibles.
Oof.
Because obviously the name's in the title.
Got
But
it.
I think those hips for days. I think that's definitely pretty accurate too for you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's cheating with the princess, but I also feel like that's still pretty accurate
Mm-hmm.
for her, or like just her and her brothers in general with the chaos that they could.
They are, and I do
Consume.
I can agree with Merida as well, just because of how stubborn I am, but I am not afraid to stand up. as
Just
well.
missing the Scottish accent.
I am missing the Scottish accent. I can't speak most of the time, but hey, you know what?
Hey, sometimes when we speak too fast, it might sound like Scottish.
Oh man, we do speak a little fast.
It's okay. That's fine. Most people can understand us. If not, there's
If not, I
usually
have
a
a translator.
translation period.
Translation.
Feel like someone talks. What'd you say? List the words. Okay, goes back to conversation. Now, I guess sticking in the Disney realm, we can
Okay.
move to Marvel because it's now a part of Disney,
Yeah,
thankfully.
the budgets. Thank you, Disney. Thank you.
You have unlimited funds. I think we should do, but there are two different versions of Marvel. You have Disney Marvel, and then you have comic books. So I
Ooh.
feel like those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
two separate categories because I feel like Disney did pretty well of like addressing who the characters are and how they did and stuff like that. But I do feel like there is a distinct difference between the two.
Yes, there are. There definitely is a distinct difference between them. You know, being a fan, we both for many years growing up in this world of Marvel and superheroes. I feel like seeing the difference in the comics and reading the comic stories and the comic lines and seeing how the MCU really brings the characters to life and how they interpret the characters. I feel like that's really cool to see, you know, the all-around aspect of the character.
I do think it'd be funny to go back and say who our actual favorite Disney characters and favorite Marvel
Yes.
character. So favorite Disney overall, your favorite Disney character, no matter what.
Favorite Disney character no matter what. Okay, so this also kind of plays in Marvel, so we can kind of tie in the two.
Oh, that's true. Because
So-
yours is.
It is. So not many people know, which they really should, but Big Hero 6 is actually a part of Marvel. And Baymax is my all-around time favorite Disney character.
I'll never forget when I saw that in the movies and they get to Fred's house and they have the picture of like Stanley as his dad. And I like
yes.
freaked out in the movie theater and no one else seemed to have a response. And I was like, I'm just gonna like sit back down.
The cameos are real, you know,
Yes.
and it's so sad that that movie, you know, didn't get as much fan view because Frozen came out. Still great movie, still fantastic, you know, but man.
It could have been a big one up there.
It
If
really
it wasn't
should have been.
outshouted by Frozen.
Yes, but Disney, do something with Big Hero 6. Do something with Baymax because he's so fantastic.
They just had to let it go.
Oh, that was so... So what about you, Courtney? What do you think? What's your favorite Disney character?
I
all
don't
around?
know. I would have no idea.
I couldn't guess.
Never would guess what my favorite
Never.
character is.
Mm-mm.
My favorite character is obviously Stitch. He's been my favorite since I was a kid. When it came out when I was like in elementary school, it was probably the biggest change. Because I used to be a huge princess person. Like, I was that generic. Like, I loved the princesses, but I also mainly liked the princesses like sidekicks. I loved the sidekicks, like the pets. I was a big animal person. Again, going to Stitch. So when Stitch came out as like a main character, I think that's what I was like, oh, they actually did really well with like how the women are in there, how the guys act, and how they have the aliens, and how Stitch is like the main person. So I definitely think that's what actually.
What do you think about this live action that's coming out?
I'm so ready for it. When it was announced that when they did it, of showing him actually as I was really scared it was gonna be like a Sonic moment.
Yeah.
Of like the weird, creepy CGI.
I was so worried about his face.
Yeah, but I feel like he looks skinnier than I thought he should be. Like, for some reason, he looks slim. But I'm hoping it's just because it's like with him being. I think it's gonna be I think it'll be molded into the movie really well. But I'm very excited for the movie. But
and Lilo, she's beautiful.
Yeah, the little girl looks so cute.
Actress.
They did great with casting with Nani. I'm excited to see who everyone. They haven't fully like listed the full cast. I'm excited to see.
I'm excited to see Gamba and Pleakley.
Yeah, they're gonna be Pleakley. I hope he does.
Jamba. I'm sorry.
Jamba. I really hope you see like Pleakley with his like wigs and the outfits. I hope they do that with the CGI really well. I think it'll be funny because that was like a huge part of like them capturing Stitch.
Of course.
I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think it'll get a good opening weekend, but I feel like it might be like a hit or miss.
You know we're gonna be there opening weekend. We're probably gonna see it multiple times. Most likely. And we will be dressed up. Don't you worry.
I can already quote the entire like animated, so let's just add another to them.
Do you think they're gonna change? Or do you think they're gonna go like verbatim from the movie? Or do you think that they're gonna change it and do something slightly different?
I think they'll change it to adapt it to modern age. I know it's a huge time jump from when the first one came out to now. I think they'll keep most of the storyline, but I do think they might change like some aspects they already did with the whole like the dryer washer situation.
Oh yeah, which most people don't even realize that's changed in the
I highly doubt they'll do the chasing scene where she hides there. I feel like she'll hide in like a closet or something more. But yeah, no, I think they'll change it enough to where it like goes with it, but at the same time might just be more modernized into a little bit of a different storyline.
I'm excited to see Cobra Bubbles as well.
Tattoos. Yeah, Bubbles tattooed on your knuckles.
Look sideways.
Yes.
Give
but
me Major League, though.
For sure. Which Cobra makes me think of Fury, Nick Fury.
He does.
Nick Fury vibes.
He does. You know, how would you have felt if they would have casted Samuel L. Jackson as Bubbles?
I mean, he's already done everything else in the world. You might as well just add to a Stitch character where he talks to a giant alien.
I think that actually would have been a great casting.
In Marvel, he talks to aliens all the time. It wouldn't be anything different for him. No, I think that is definitely that would be funny if they casted him as that, but we'll see how it goes.
Of course. So going back to our Marvel and I'm sorry, we had a huge tangent. Going back to who we think for our Marvel characters, we can kind of jump back on that bandwagon.
For you, for Disney, Rocket. Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy.
And this is from the MCU, right?
Yes.
Okay.
From the MCU. Collects shiny things, will steal an arm if told to, will randomly make objects and be like, here's a bomb, press this button.
I don't make bombs per se, but yeah, I can say my random crafts that I do make are very
Has
unique.
a best friend that looks like a tree.
That brings me to you, because honestly, I can see Groot. I can see Groot so hard MCU. If it's not Groot, it's definitely Venom.
We have Venom!
Because, exactly.
I think, Venom would be I can be both good and bad.
Yes, and then that shows both sides of her. She is good of Groot, and she is Venom of Chaos.
Just because bad guy does not mean bad
guy.
Yes, no, I definitely. And then, technically, we're a duo. Imagine that.
We are a duo. And it's funny enough, because I'm one of the very few people who can translate Courtney.
It's a very hard task. Not many can do it, especially when I start talking extremely fast.
Extremely fast, or when you're eating.
Yeah, I get very carried away. I try to be table manner well, and then I end up failing because if I don't say what is on my mind, then it'll never come back out.
Thoughts gone.
Pretty much. It's like a toilet bowl. It just keeps going down, and then eventually exits, and it's just the thought's gone. As far as comic book, though.
Ooh, as far as comic book, this one's very unique because, like I said, I've been reading Marvel comics since, a small child. And I think I'm gonna go with Stan Lee on this one, and one of my favorites is, I believe that you remind me of Spider-Man, especially the Amazing Spider-Man line. But I feel comic line, you definitely give those vibes of Peter Parker.
Oh, the sad thing is I can't even do.
No, but your webcaster is broken. I do have to say, she
It's
does.
gonna shoot back at me.
Oh, it's just wonky. It's a little wonky.
I'm Spider-Man in his learning curve. As far as comic book for you, I definitely think I'm gonna go X-Men vibes on this.
Ooh.
I would say you're like Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Although because her development is very like everywhere, but then eventually she gets to Phoenix.
Which, I mean, that's the totally, she is the same character, same entity embodied, but yeah, the Phoenix is definitely unique in, every aspect. She's so
I feel
strong.
like if you were to be a superhero, you would be one that's like really cool powers, the mind, telekinesis, all the things, and then be like, oh, by the way, I have this cosmic energy in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Blows up world.
Unintentionally blows up world.
What does this do? Snap. Ah!
Because I don't know my own strength, and I'm like, you know what? I just want to see what this button does, right? Here.
And then we go back to Rocket, I am Groot.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I feel like that's pretty accurate.
And this is why we're not in charge of much. This is why.
I should never be in charge of one. If I ever had like a dream, just one-time job, and all I had to do was just be told to press a button, I don't need to be told what it does.
Oh man, the mining, dude, collapsing the mines.
Yeah,
I want to press the one button. I don't want to hear the sound because loud booms, but I want to press that button.
I just be like, no, okay, bye, and just run away. And everybody be like, who is that? And no one would know.
No one knows because I want to be anonymous when I blow up that. I just want people to like think, who's that person in like a trench coat and a
What
hat?
is your profession? Anonymous button pusher.
We can make it a thing. We can make it a thing.
Just have a red button, just press it. You don't know what it does, we're just gonna press it and something happens. And then everybody's scared.
What's in the box?
Pandora.
Oh,
that went dark.
Man. Pandora's box. Okay, so when you think of Marvel and MCU, who's your favorite character?
That's hard. That is really hard because I like the different aspects of the groups and how they all team up.
Ooh, you can do group instead of, if you want to do favorite group in the MCU.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be.
These are the movies.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be like generic and be like my favorite movies. That could be what my favorite movie character is probably Iron Man. Not just because it's RDJ, but I like how they did. I think Iron Man's story is probably one of my favorite character developments that they did. Of course, he sacrificed himself for the entire world. So yes, everyone's automatically love him. But I don't even like that aspect. I was sad that they did it, but it makes sense why they did it. I was more the way that they started with Iron Man 1 going all the way down to Endgame. I think that's probably the best development because they had him make the storyline with Spider-Man. They had him make the backstory with Cap. They actually brought in his dad's situation and how Captain knew his dad and stuff like that and how he knew about pin particles. I think that he probably had... he started it. He had the ability to start Iron Man. RDJ knew what he was signing up for, and he said, I'm going to make this happen on top of all the amazing directors they had over him and all the other storylines. I feel like they did really well with it, and they stuck true to his character.
Yes.
I think that was a big thing, too.
Yeah. Not to mention Happy's in there. And
I
John
love
Favreau.
Happy.
You my man.
Top tier. No, I think they did the best with his character development. I think he was probably, and so he's my overall favorite. As far as comic book goes, though, comic books, my favorite was always Doctor Strange.
Oh, Doctor Strange comic line's really nice.
I think his is my favorite because it goes dark, it goes cool, it goes different. It has different aspects of like all the magic and whatnot, and I think that that's like a good thing. I think they did well with the movies. I don't think they did him bad in it, but I do think that he has a lot more.
But Benedict Cumberbatch played a very good Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
I
didn't
the
have
sassy, the quips, the intelligence that
the
he
swish
had.
of the cape,
the swish, his little finger movements.
Him and Scarlet Witch. No, I think that they did really well with him in that. So I think as far as comic goes, but I do like him in the MC universe, but I like him in comics more. And Iron Man overall. What's yours?
Of course. So when it comes to MCU and the movies, that's super hard to decide because one of my favorite favorite MCU movies is the original Thor.
Yeah, I do like the original
Hemsworth played
Thor.
a great Thor. I mean, his wig was,
He's feathered and lethal.
And Ragnarok was so good too.
I liked Ragnarok.
I mean, Love and Thunder dropped the ball massively.
Yeah.
You can't do my boy like that. But once again, Thor was amazing in it.
Well, they casted really well too. Like, I think that between Loki and Thor, they casted phenomenally with
They
everybody.
did.
And
They
then
did.
adding any other side characters, of course, was
They
great.
did.
But I think the top two would definitely be Loki and Thor. They
Oh,
were.
Loki was amazing in it too. I mean, even
Yeah.
down to Loki's, not even in, it's still MCU, but Loki the series.
Yeah, the series was really
so
good.
good, and it set up a beautiful timeline for what can happen next. And so I'm very excited to see what happens. But I think I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back again because I don't just have one. I love Marvel. I love MCU. I love the comics. Hulk.
Well, your favorite comic would be Hulk then, right?
Yes, I actually, because I have two.
Yeah.
Hulk will forever be my main man.
Mm-hmm.
I love the comics.
Main man.
My main man. I definitely would say Hulk. Blink from Exiles also.
Yeah.
She's underrated character. She's not really hit on very much, but her powers are just so unique. And she's pink.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's like a glowy glowworm.
it's just really cool to, like I said, see these characters. I would love to see Blink be brought to life again. I mean, I know we had the series that she was in, but I want to see Blink as she is.
Yeah, they definitely undertoned her power.
They did.
They undertoned her power a lot.
They did. Also, she wasn't really pink, and she should be pink.
Yeah.
Um,
As far
some
as
small things.
As far as underpowering, Sony is
Oh, boy.
a company that I have hard feelings about. But they did do, I think, well with the Venom movie, which we did see this weekend.
We did see it this weekend.
Last weekend.
I thought that this past weekend.
Yeah.
I thought that they did amazing. Tom Hardy was superb as Venom.
The most wonderful Eddie Brock to ever exist.
I just wish that he was like 15 years younger,
Yeah.
so that way he could really play like Tom Holland and Tom Hardy and
Not
Tom
sponsored.
Holland would be so great with their banter back and forth. If Tom Hardy doesn't come back for Venom, I hope or for Eddie Brock, I hope he at least comes back for Venom.
Yeah. He could do the voice. It's kind of like with Bruce Banner. He could do the voice forever, and if you do CGI, it doesn't really matter. They become one as a symbiote, but no.
They do.
I think they did really well with it.
Venomized suit would be really cool for
Yeah.
Spider-Man. I would love to see that.
Especially with the next phase that they're going into.
Of course.
It's going to be, needed.
It really is going to be needed, especially because they kind of touched on Null, but they didn't really hit. And like I said, we're going to be no spoilers for this, so you're safe to continue watching. We're not going to be spoiling. We're just going to be, things that are already known.
But we are going to be slightly disappointed if you haven't seen it.
Slightly disappointed, extremely disappointed if you haven't seen Venom Last Dance yet.
No, I definitely think that they did well. I think my favorite part of what they do with it is, they kind of did it in the second one with Carnage, but how
Yes.
Venom comes out and will talk to Eddie.
Yes.
And his face, they did so well with his facial expression.
CGI, they did great.
He looks
I love where technology is
He makes you
going.
think of a teenage little brother. And he's just like, "What's wrong, Eddie? What's going on?"
Eddie. And how Eddie Brock calls him buddy.
Yeah. He's
that
like,
was...
"Hey, buddy, let's actually do something. Don't eat that person."
Don't eat that person. Don't eat that person.
And his slight obsession with chocolate is not frowned upon.
It's not. I mean, it also is because chocolate, because it's where he gets his main food group from.
Mm-hmm. It's like Buddy the Elf. He says it's top main food groups.
Which, if I could say that specific ingredient that's in there, or chemical compound, I can't even tell you what it is.
Always.
too long.
Do you know what the Thermony Lake or whatever it was? Or Legally Blonde when she's talking about a perm, and I was like, I couldn't even say it.
I know. And he says it a couple times in there, and it just... Whew.
I love it. No, I think they did really well with it. I think that Sony did well with the ending of it. I think that the rights just need to be
pushed over.
pushed over.
Give it to Disney.
I thought I was going to have no faith in them after watching Madam Lead this year.
Oh, I thought I was gonna have zero faith.
I was very worried about the last Venom movie, but I had higher hopes because they did so well with the first two, so that made me feel better. But
I don't think Tom Hardy would have done it if it was gonna be bad anyways.
Yeah, no, he typically doesn't. I mean, he even did well with like Bane. He got thrown into that part, and he took what he could do with it. It didn't quite get the Bane we wanted.
So jacked for that movie. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. He was ripped for Venom.
Yeah, he did get. I mean, but he's always had that kind of like body build where he's always been that very. He just has that look about him. Yeah, pretty much. He has that look about him where you're just like, hi, we can be friends.
We can be friends. What? How do you say it? You can autograph my face with your mouth.
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're not creepy.
No, that's what she does at conventions, though.
I don't actually ask people that. It's just been a thought that popped through my head.
She wants to, but as soon as she gets up to it, she freezes.
I would probably get kicked out, I would feel.
If I didn't get kicked out of Disney for slapping a stormtrooper's butt, I think you'd be okay. At least once. They'd giggle at it. I would, if someone came up to me and said it and they were a fan and I was, a big hotshot, I would giggle. I would think, you know what, that's creative. And then that person would be in my brain for the rest of my life. That's how you make a memory.
This person
Joy.
This person said I can lick their face.
I didn't say they were actually going to agree to it. I just said that they...
But they said if you actually do it, there will be a restraining order. But at least you get their autograph. Not supporting that.
We're not supporting any kind of harassment of that nature.
Speaking of fandoms, next one with Disney would technically be Star Wars.
Ooh, yes.
Which people have mixed feelings about. Not everyone's happy that Star Wars is bought by Disney, but at the same time, I also feel like Lucasfilms wouldn't have kept going if they didn't get bought out by Disney.
It's true. I mean, it's hard because I like the New Age Star Wars,
New Age Disney.
New Age Disney. No, I like.
Welcome to Disney Channel.
So that should be our intro. Just to see how messed up we can do the Mickey head.
I would never. It would be like a circle. It wouldn't even be a circle. It would just be like a
wonkiness. But no, I love Star Wars. I think I've been a fan a little bit longer than you have. I think you were more of the Marvel and DC just because.
No, surprisingly, there was a huge. Our dad made us like big fans of everything. Surprisingly, I didn't quite know the full aspect. I watched all the Star Wars when I was younger. When they all came out, I was baby, but. Technically, as they came out, I kept watching
in early 2000s.
I didn't know, but I don't think I grasped the fandom behind it until I was maybe middle school. That's when I grasped the fandom of Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, everything like that. I always was a huge comic book person in Disney, and then I liked Lord of the Rings. I liked Star Wars, but I didn't quite grasp the seriousness of it all.
Of course. I mean, I don't think really anybody does until you get hit. I don't know. Teenage years. That's when I started getting really...
Yeah, well, that's how I liked the Mandalorian story, and that's how I always wished that was, a big thing. I loved Boba and Jabba Fett a lot, and so I was like, oh, these just must be, characters that are just, there, and then I realized, oh, no, there's a whole entire world of them, and then what I was really excited when Mandalorian came out for that reason.
Of course. So even though the older Star Wars is not technically Disney, would you prefer the older or would you prefer the newer age of Star Wars?
That's hard. I like the original series of Star Wars, the old age. Yeah. I like the new shows. I don't quite like the new movies. Bad Batch is one of my favorite. Clone Wars is my favorite overall. Clone Wars is my favorite Star Wars storyline.
The series
is my favorite. Which is where why I like Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters. Mandalorians, their side story that they did with that was so good. Of course, everyone is obsessed with Grogu. How can you not?
Of course.
But I think that I'm a big side character person. I like the side characters. I like the whole main storyline, but I think the Resistance and the Darks, all of that is so cool, but I've never been partial to any, so I've always liked the ones that are just hi, we're here.
So, what would you say? Do you want to do your overall favorite character first, or do you want to say which one do you think that we are?
I think we should say which one we think we are first, and then it might surprise people with who our actual. Well, I already kind of said who my favorite character is. I did say my favorite character was Ahsoka.
I know. It's okay.
So Courtney's favorite character is Ahsoka. We're gonna keep Jay's a secret.
We're gonna keep mine a secret, even though it's not really a secret.
But yours is who if I'm not mistaken, I think I know your favorite character would be who I'd say is you as a person, which is R2-D2.
Yes, I am droid life for sure. R2D2 is my favorite. I love his sassiness.
But like specifically RTD2 screaming
Oh
is
my
you.
gosh. His scream is my favorite. If I could have it as my background noise for
It's actually
every
like
instance.
a ring. You can have it as a ringtone.
I know. I know.
That would probably scare the living crap out of people in
That's
public.
why we don't have it as ringtone anymore. We've learned a lesson very quickly that R2's scream is funny, but can give you slightly a heart attack. So going to, back to characters and who we think you are, or each other are. Chewie.
Bah!
Chewie is
Basically, any
everything
character
about
that
you.
just screams an obnoxious thing.
Yes, but it's once again the loyalty that Chewie has, and how strong Chewie is. I don't know. I give it you.
Honestly, Chew's an underrated character too, because I feel like if he actually would talk, people would realize he'd be like, "You're stupid."
Well, also, I mean, Han Solo can once again translate for Chewie.
Yeah, and I think he probably doesn't translate everything that he needs to say.
No, but it makes sense, and that's why I can kind of see it.
Yes.
So we did take a Kyber
Quiz.
crystal quiz to see which crystal we would most likely be paired with or matched with. And
The results will surprise you.
yes, the results will surprise you.
I'll say, so Kyber crystal, what I would think would be yours, would most likely be red. You'd be a red Kyber crystal.
I'm not that evil.
No, but I feel like you would be one that'd be like, all right, I'm just going to go to the dark side.
Yeah,
It seems pretty cool.
I dabble with it.
I
can
want
see
that
it.
lightsaber. I'm just going to steal this lightsaber and it's not going to be mine.
It's mine now. I like the hilt. It's mine.
Mm-hmm. As far as for me,
ooh, going back, because like you said, Ahsoka was one of your favorite characters, and she has white sabers. She has the white kyber crystal. So I think that honestly would match you, because you're not really, I would not say that you are dark side in any manner, but as much as you are also, I wouldn't say not pure of heart, but you... Yes. I wouldn't say that you would be anything blue or green, you are not strong with
either side.
either side.
So are you saying I'd be a white kyber crystal?
Yes, I am saying you'd be a white kyber crystal. Slightly kind
Imagine
of like what you were paired with when we took the quiz.
Yes. Which I believe you were as well.
Yes.
Which
yes,
was
I
also surprising.
It was. It's because I don't necessarily... I'm more vigilante. I'm not really good for evil. I'm not for good or for evil. I'm just kind of here.
But we'll cut you for a red kyber crystal.
But we'll cut you for a red kyber crystal. Yes. That is something.
Well, I mean, it leads me to what I would think your personality would be. So technically, I guess we did light side people who we think would be overall. For dark side, I think you'd be Darth Maul. I promise she's nice being people, but I do feel like you would be Darth Maul.
Because Ray Park played him so well.
Yeah.
And his awesome,
He has a cool storyline. I feel like that's another part. I think that's another part is people don't realize that his story is actually pretty interesting and that it's so not touched as well as it should be.
it really should be.
And I feel like they could have done more with him. I thought they were going to do more after Han Solo's movie, but they didn't. Emilia Clarke would have done fantastic with that.
Oh.
But no, I definitely think you'd be on sort of Darth Maul. Is a nice human.
I try to be a nice human.
Looks
I
like a
try.
cinnamon roll will cut you.
Super allergic to cinnamon rolls. Fun fact.
Ironically.
So it's hard to say what dark side you would actually kind of be towards. You really don't.
I would probably be the neutral as always. I don't really know if I
Yeah.
would follow underneath a dark side character. If not, I would see, because I feel like even the generals are more aggressive than even Darth Vader in...
But if honestly, I know he's good, and I know he's part of the Council of Jedi, or was, but, oh my goodness, I just had his name in my head. Samuel Jackson played him.
Mace Windu?
Mace Windu.
Oh,
Thank
yes,
you.
Mace Windu.
I had his name in my head, and then Mandalorian came up, and I was like, you know what? That's not at all what I was trying to think of.
I do like Mace. I feel like he's definitely toggles on the side of light and dark the most out of anybody. He's not afraid to, like, fight, but at the same time, he knows which side he should be on.
Yes.
Whether he chooses that willingly, I think is the question.
I don't think he has the pull towards the dark side as much. I think he has more right and wrong, and, you know, there's far left and there's far right.
He would justify it rightly.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I fully agree to that. I do think that.
Do you think that his fight with Anakin would have been better, and he would have actually been able to hold his own if he knew what was going on and he wasn't caught off guard?
Oh, yeah. I feel like if he knew what was going on, I don't think Anakin would have won. Mace was one of the best fighters, I think. I think he had the overall, like, combat ability that would have been able to take down Anakin. And I think that's why it was such a dramatic twist, is because he was so surprised. Because everyone's
he was
like...
really caught off guard.
Everyone's like, no, that wouldn't happen. I think that, yeah. No, I definitely think that if he had the upper hand in that... He would have had the upper hand if he just knew. Because he would automatically be...
Do you think he would have killed Anakin, or do you think he would have just maimed him to stop him?
He probably would have stopped him, because that's where he would have the right and wrong. He knows what he's doing is wrong, but he doesn't think it's to the point yet.
He doesn't unnecessarily hurt or harm. Yeah.
He hasn't gotten to that quite point yet. He definitely is on the verge of the dark side, but he's not way past the point of possibly... You would think maybe there would be a point of return. He might be like, Yoda, like, this one may be saved.
Oh, Yoda.
Just maybe.
Oh.
But I do think that's a big thing there. As far as that goes, with Halloween being today.
Oh, yes.
It's a big thing because you talk about all these fandoms and stuff, and fandoms basically are kids who watch them, and that's who their influence is on wearing Halloween costumes.
Yeah, because especially nowadays, when it's so hard to find a costume that's not going to offend or be insulting in any way. So I feel like they really gravitate towards this fandom, especially because also cosplay has been super big, and it's been growing in popularity. I feel like that's helped Halloween costumes because, you know, you have so much fandom to be based off of.
It's also like Halloween's kind of going towards adults. I feel like I know more nowadays. I know I am an adult, but I feel like I know more days where adults enjoy Halloween more than kids do. Like, I don't feel like it's the same...
Because we don't have that same trick-or-treating vibe anymore.
Yeah, it's trunk or treats.
Yeah.
It's going to places for fall festivals and stuff, which
I don't mind at all, but being an adult and not partaking in anything like super crazy partying anymore, you know, it's hard to find somewhere where it's...
Normal?
Yes.
Not crazy?
Normal. Yes. Although, you know, we do get most of our decorations for our house during this time of year.
Yeah.
So that's... also kind of a win for this, but for Halloween costumes, I mean, what's your favorite Halloween costume that you think as a kid you ever wore?
That I ever wore as a kid?
Yeah.
It's hard because my range of costumes as a kid was actually everywhere. I was a huge fandom kid. But I think my favorite, because it was just so pretty, I was Josie and the Pussycats. Josie from Josie and the Pussycats
so
one time.
cool.
I had like the sparkly microphone, the like super cute tights, the little heels, and like the cute tank top. I actually could wear it though, because I grew up in Florida for Halloween, where you sweat while you're trick-or-treating. And so like when I moved around, I was like, oh, people... up north, there are like places where it's actually like fall.
Yeah.
Have to wear like jackets and bundle up. I was like, if I wore my Josie,
hides the costume.
Exactly, it hides the costume. If I would have worn my Josie, I would have been wearing like a trench coat and gloves. And I'd be like, this guy, and a sparkly microphone, which would be a little bit more creepy than what Josie would have been.
It's just covered with gloves all over.
Everything's bedazzled.
Everything's bedazzled.
Look at my sparkle coat.
Oh my goodness.
Open it. Like a superhero. It's like the spider or
Superman
Superman logo. But it's a Josie and the Pussycat tank top.
Knocking on the door. I'm actually this.
This is my real costume.
It's gold. Not chocolate.
My face is bedazzled, but it's too cold. You can't see it. What was she wearing?
So I wore this costume like 2 years in a row, and because you know, like you said, I grew up kind of a little bit different than you did. I grew up kind of in different states where I did get to grow up with fall and the cold weather, so I got to wear the cold costumes and really be able to play on that.
Not sweat while wearing more than one layer.
Yeah, but I think that I wore Ghostface as a kid 2 years in a row because I loved it so much. Ghostface, you know, from Scream. The old ones that just came out where you could pump the little heart and it blood came down the face.
I totally thought his name was just Scream. I didn't know he had an actual name.
Yeah, his name's Ghostface.
Couldn't they be more, like, creative?
You know, I think they could have, but when that movie came out in the 90s,
I feel like Scream makes more sense because he literally looks like he's screaming. I mean, I guess he does look like a Ghostface too, but yeah, no, I legit thought he was called Scream. I didn't know his name was Ghostface.
Yeah, his name's Ghostface.
New little fun fact for you.
FF for you.
Please let me know if I'm alone in this, because it's like I feel like as an adult I learn more things, and I feel stupid because it's like common sense things, and I'm like, oh, that makes more sense than the 10,000 other complicated ways I've done this my entire life.
Well, we never really, like, I know, at least I didn't. I'm pairing you up like we had childhood together. I know that I watched scary movies as a kid, but I really, you know, didn't, as I've grown up, I haven't really, like, gotten into that love. I mean, there's some, I love the gore, but I wouldn't say, like...
See, and I don't like gore.
Yeah.
But as far as favorite Halloween movies, ironically, I don't like gore, but my favorite Halloween movie is Halloween.
Oh, wow. Like the original Halloween.
Like with Michael Myers. I feel like that sets the tone for, like, classic scary movie, classic Halloween movie, classic everything about it. And then he just doesn't die. He's like, you can take off my head and I'm just going to come after you guys still. But I do think, I do, you know what, like, as a second, what takes there is, like, the original Disney Halloween movies, like Halloween Town.
Yeah. No, oh my God. Literally watched that, like, you know.
I love all of them. I love Halloween Town. Halloween Town 2, Kyle Barr's Revenge, Halloween Town High, Halloween Town when they go to college and they change characters and Marnie changes to Sarah Paxton.
Sarah Paxton, beautiful.
Perfect guy. I liked her. I think she did well. I think what she got handed, I think she did really well with it. I think the characters went along with it pretty well, but it does stink that the girl who originally played Marnie didn't come back for it. But I liked the concept of them actually showing the transition between it, and they actually looked like they belonged.
They did, and they're great movies. But staying on the Disney vibe, I know it's, you know, cult classic. I know that since the second one came out, everybody's been kind of jumping on the bandwagon. But I have been a original Hocus Pocus fan. The Sanderson sisters, for as long as I can remember. That is definitely on my list every year.
You can't not watch Hocus Pocus. When they made Hocus Pocus 2, everyone lost their minds over it because they were so excited. And it's hard because, like, when you have such an original classic like that, it's hard to, like, remake it, make a second one. But I feel like they did I think that what they did between when they made it to that time period to how they remade it to this time period, I think they did perfectly with it, especially with Mary on the Roombas. My rubies, or whatever she says.
That was amazing. And having Bette Midler come back as well, Sarah Jessica Parker.
The fact that they all came back was just phenomenal, especially with all the controversy over it. I think that was such an impressive thing.
It was impressive. It really was. And seeing them age as well, but come back.
Yeah.
And see that progression.
I mean, I want to look like that when I'm 30.
Please.
Tell us your secret.
Please. Money.
When they're doing the skincare thing and they're eating it instead, I'm like, that's probably what I'm doing wrong.
I know, I go on those Korean skincare trends, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, the only thing I use safely is a sunscreen because I live in Florida.
Because UVs hurt.
They will burn you to your crisp, and you look like a lobster. But no, I definitely think that they did well with Hocus Pocus 2. I think that you're very accurate. I think that falls under, like, my Disney original, like, movies, Halloween. I cannot say Hocus Pocus isn't in the top, like, 3. But as far as, like, cult classics,
I do hope that I see the Sanderson sisters tonight.
Oh yeah, for trick or treating. I saw a few last year after Hocus Pocus 2 came out.
I really hope so because it's super cute.
Well, I think they're supposed to do, like, a mini series for it too.
I thought Disney was supposed to come out with it.
I thought so, but I don't really know.
I haven't seen anything.
But I do think that I think that I love. What's your favorite Halloween costume to see in trick or treaters? Do you like the new age stuff or do you like seeing, like, the classics?
Well, going back to kind of cult classics and also fandom, and also you can just tell when a parent had a huge decision on those kids. In the right way, but I love seeing Power Rangers.
Yeah, Power Rangers or like Ninja Turtles.
Or Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Just something with that big, bulky muscle suit and these tiny little kids like just running down the street.
A 5-year-old and his, like, pants are falling down and he has muscles.
He cracks me up, and with the plastic masks, I give him extra candy. Yeah. I really try to, because
your favorites, you get an extra Reese's.
I do.
You get a Laffy Taffy.
I do.
Banana flavored.
Banana flavored Laffy Taffy. You get the bad ones.
These are one for you, 5 for me.
I know we're gonna have so much candy tomorrow, though. I'm bringing it into the office.
As far as cult classic, like I think I'm a stick. I love the pop culture because I was the one who followed it. But I also did the few like witches and fairies here and there when I was a
The
kid.
little fairies.
I think that the evolution of like the fairies and the witches of how I had a few different versions of the costumes when I was a kid. So like I loved having them. So I like seeing like what I used to wear as a little witch and a fairy to like people wearing now. As long as it's like not scandalous, which is also a thing that's become a thing.
Oh my goodness, yeah, some of these costumes.
Let me be the sexy witch, and I'm like, I want to wear pants. I want to be the
look at the Lorax, please.
I'm gonna do the crooked nose witch with the green face.
Lorax, give me them eyebrows, please.
I love the people who do the Lorax costumes and just stuff them with the pillows, and they're just like awkwardly built, and you're just like, yeah, that would be the Lorax if I saw them in real life. That would definitely be it.
But it kind of goes back into like cosplaying.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the costumes were really picked up from. And I mean, even if I see adults come up and they're dressed, I'll give them candy.
I'll
give them candy.
That was the rule in our house. Our parents always said that if they're dressed up, no matter what age they are, if they are dressed up and they put in the effort, they'll get whatever they want. And you couldn't technically not give kids candy, but my mom appreciated it. She goes, I would love to see adults or kids
hold that candy from kids.
Yeah, pretty much. Mom was like, no, you're not decorated. But I feel like as long as you put in the effort, even if it's like a simple, just like you Modge Podge, I think that it was still something if you're trying to have fun on Halloween. It kept these kids out of trouble. They just wanted candy. They were just going around with their friends as long as they weren't destroying anything.
Of course.
That was like our rule in the house is like they would still get candy.
Of course.
Speaking of cosplay, this weekend for the queue for San Diego Comic-Con, that was a debacle.
A huge debacle. I mean, what happened, San Diego?
You got in the queue. Well, you had to get into like the queue to get in the queue. So like, you had to get signed on. That already messed up with like the whole loading screen.
Trying to get into the actual website just crashed completely.
You had to keep refreshing. Then you finally get into it, and then you go the whole hour waiting, and then you get into the queue, Little toucan doesn't want to move. And then ones who were, they got all the way to the queue, and then it just crashed. It said, this queue is paused, and paused usually means bad.
Yeah, and so far we still don't have an update if they're going to be opening up the queue again, if they're going to be redoing it at all, or if what tickets are sold.
My favorite was reading through, like, the Twitter comments and stuff, and everyone's like, this damn toucan, I miss the Running Man, and I'm just like, yeah, but at least he's dancing.
At least he's dancing. He's trying to move, but...
He has no control. The toucan is not in charge.
Toucan, please don't blame him.
The toucan cannot can.
Toucan. He
Can.
Oh my goodness.
I can do the dance for you.
Oh no. But hopefully we get some information. If you guys have information for us or anything regarding the matter, what your thoughts on it, go ahead and share it with us. We want to know what your thoughts on are. If they're going to be opening up again.
Do you think it's fair that the ones who got tickets are going to be just automatically, or if those who are going to have possibly tickets and it might get taken away? I'm curious how that's all going to go in that. But then it's kind of like the great Taylor Swift debacle with the tickets. The same thing, and you think with all the years that they've been doing this, that they would have it figured out.
You would think they would have it figured out, but hopefully we get some information on it. And like I said, next week when we come back to our show, hopefully we'll have some new information for you regarding San Diego.
And as for that, we'd like to tell you guys happy Halloween and thanks for joining us on this fun little trip.
Please have a safe night.
Make good choices.
Eat all of the candy.
Make bad choices on that one.
Be safe.
Diabetes.
And we'll see you next week.
Have a great time, Maniacs. We enjoyed our mayhem.